Hi everyone, my name's Imani, and I'm here to talk about the movie called My Sister's Keeper. Um, this was recommended for me to watch by my friend Hope, so shout out to Hope. Hey, thanks for the support. Um, I literally just finished watching it, like not even like 10 minutes ago. So this is like super fresh thoughts. I wrote down some things I want to touch on about the movie, but yeah, this movie is a very hard movie to watch, especially if you have someone who's had cancer or lost one from cancer, whatever. Very hard. It's a very hard movie to watch. So I guess I'll just give a little recap. Obviously, there's gonna be spoilers. Anyways, movie is about a girl named Anna, and she is suing both her parents, in particular her mother, um, for medical emancipation because her older sister, Kate, has cancer. And Anna was literally born and genetically, as much genetic engineering as you can get, to be Kate's 100% donor match for Kate. She's specifically designed for this, to be Kate's donor match. So after 11 years of being forced to give Kate blood and bone marrow and whatever else, um, now she's been tasked with giving Kate her kidney. And at this point, she's decided she has enough and that she's going to go and get a lawyer and sue her parents for medical emancipation. Um, so the movie is about obviously the lawsuit with her parents, and again particularly her mom, because uh once the lawsuit the mom's been served and the lawsuit's a thing, the father is like, okay, you know what, this has gone too far. I support Anna's decision, and he takes a step back and he supports actively supports Anna, and he refuses to really take the mom's side at all. Um, so there's that. And yeah, so like I said, she sues her parents and, like I said, her mom. And she, and the eventual and outcome of the movie is that um, she wins. She does win the lawsuit. She wins the lawsuit shortly after Kate dies. And so her winning the lawsuit is like bittersweet and also kind of pointless at that point, because the whole reason why she was suing is so she doesn't have to give Kate her kidney. And so with Kate being dead, it doesn't matter if she won the lawsuit or not, because she's not gonna be needed to give anyone else her kidney, you know? But just the point that she won is just like, bittersweet, I guess. But at that point, it's like, who cares? Your sister's dead anyway, so what is the point? So like I said, it's about the lawsuit, and it also talks about her family life and how the family copes and deals with Kate's illness. And it also flashes back to different memories and moments that are significant in Kate's life. One of my favorite. So yeah, that's pretty much the sum of it. How the movie ends. I'm gonna talk about that. Just go into my feelings, and I have like different points, and I'm just gonna go into it. So the movie itself, it's a good movie. It's a very sad movie. It's a very hard to watch movie. It's very hard to process. It's a lot. It takes a lot of spoons out of you. After I watched this movie, I was just like blank. I didn't really have anything, and I kind of was like, wait, process everything, because I just had to. It was so much emotionally, and I was like crying in the movie that I took me moments to like process different things before I could write everything down, and get my thoughts out. So it's very hard to process, very hard to watch. Like I said earlier, in particular, if you or someone else has suffered from cancer, or you've lost someone to cancer, it's hard to watch. Or even anyone who's just very ill, it's a very hard movie to watch. I will say the main point of the movie is, the question is Anna, is who's right and wrong here? Does Anna have a moral obligation to do it and or a legal obligation to do it? Honestly, I'm on Anna's side. As much my grandpa died of cancer a couple years ago. And if there was someone who could give him whatever transplant he needed, then yes, I would have loved for that person to give him whatever transplant that he needed. But at the end of the day, if that person said, I don't want to do it, I'm not going to do it because, you know, how it's going to affect me, I couldn't be mad at that person for saying no. You know what I mean? I could be angry and I could be mad, sure. But at the end of the day, it's not my decision to make. I'm not the one gonna have to sacrifice part of myself to save my grandpa. So, sure, I could be angry and I probably would be angry at that moment, but I'm not going to demonize them and hold it against them and think of them as any less of a person because of that. And eventually I will be angry at the moment and I will be hurt and upset because my grandpa is inevitably going to die if he doesn't have, the said transplant. But I wouldn't, like, after I got over that, I would move on and I would have to accept it. But that's if I was ever in that situation like my grandpa and everything. Like I said, he died and that was that. He didn't have that. There was no one there to transplant or donate anything for him. So in this relation of this movie, Anna's completely correct to want to have to want to have boundaries and to not want to donate to her sister because she's sick of doing it. She's been doing it for 11 years straight. And it's it's hard. And in the movie, Anna raises points about her kidney. She has several good points. She talks about she can't ever play sports. She can't ever drink alcohol. She's always going to be walking on eggshells the rest of her life because she has one kidney. And what if later on she needs that other kidney? Then what? So she's 100% correct in her reasons. Even if she didn't have any valid reasons. Even if her reason was just like, I don't want to do it. Like, it's her kidney to give away. So 100% agree with Anna. And just morally, I 100% agree with her. Yes, that's her sister. But at the end of the day, it's her body. It's her choice. And I'm very, very, very for physical consent in all shapes and forms. That means sexually and obviously medically. So yeah, I'm with Anna 100%. And then the whole plot twist, which I think was unnecessary. I'll get into more of the plot twist later because I kind of have other things I want to talk about. Anyway, the whole plot twist of like her sister Kate not wanting the transplant because she wanted to die and she was ready to go. Also just further solidifies Anna's point and further solidifies Anna's case. So it's no surprise when Anna wins the case at the end because I feel like she was going to win the case anyway. It was pretty clear in my point that she was probably going to win. And I have never seen this movie before. I've never read the book. So just on like how I know how like law works, I'm like, yeah, she's going to win the case. She did. So yeah, so that's that about how I feel about the whole central point in question of the movie is I'm definitely on Anna's side. Her parents were wrong. Her mom was wrong. Their mom was really, really wrong for what she did, especially once it became clear that like Kate nor Anna wanted to go through with it anymore. She should have listened. Yeah, so like I said, the parents are really wrong. Her father tend to be like most dads that I know, just kind of like go along with the mom and not really being more assertive. So I actually did like the points in the movie when he was assertive about different things, such as taking Kate to the beach and making a point of taking her to the beach to the point where he like damn near throws the mom to the ground to make sure he can take Kate to the beach. um, and making sure that Kate is comfortable and doing a good job of respecting both Anna and Kate's wishes. And on top of that, he also did a good job with Jesse. So although he kind of, so I will say that the father's definitely the better parent in the situation, just because of the way he deals with all of his children. And I love him. I love it. I love that. Very supportive as much as he can with everything going on. The mother tries her best, but it's too much, and it ultimately becomes for Anna abusive. And the mom was just ultimately very selfish because she literally had Kate just to save her current daughter's life, and then her whole life with the whole everything. It's pretty obvious she treated Kate and Anna that way. That she was just like there to save Kate. And she was like, I'm trying to save my daughter. Well, you have two daughters now. And I'm not really surprised that 11 years old, Anna decides she's had enough. And Jesse, who's Anna's brother, and Kate both agreed with Anna and all do their part to help Anna with the court case. Not surprised at all. And it's not surprising that the father ends up agreeing with Anna and doing his part to be supportive. Completely not surprised. But in the case of her mom, once you see that literally everyone in your household, except even her sister, makes a point where she says, you know, you've gone too far. You have to let this shit go. Even when you got everyone in your house telling you the exact same thing, then, you know, and it's to the point where it's going to court, you think that she would look back and think that maybe I'm wrong. But I don't ever see her do that at any point in the movie. Does she ever look back and say she's wrong? Never does she apologize to Anna. At all. I think the father apologizes to Kate, or if he doesn't, he does make it very, or Anna I meant, but he does make it very clear he's on Anna's side. She never does that. She never apologizes. She never says she's sorry. They never have a heart-to-heart about it. So it's very hard for me to feel bad for the mom, because at no point does she feel guilty. Does she feel any type of sadness except for Kate when she dies? So I just really don't like the mom in this movie. She does never, at no point does she show any type of remorse or regret or feel any type of sadness for how she's treated Anna her entire life. I love the sibling relationship between Anna, Kate, and Jesse. It was great. I loved it. I thought it was really, really good. I thought it was super, super well done. I love how they're all supportive of each other. How they're both obviously supportive of Kate and her being sick. And then they support Anna when she's like, I don't want to do this anymore. And how they all play their part in supporting each other. I loved it. I really, really loved it. And I thought it was something very special. And it was very, very nice to see that. And it's very refreshing, because a lot of time when you see on TV, it's like siblings fighting each other. But there was none of that. There was none of that. It was really, really nice to see like the love between them. It was very strong. And that was definitely a big highlight of the movie for me, was seeing the relationship between the siblings. I love the Taylor, who is Kate's boyfriend, who has cancer. He ends up dying. I love every single scene between Taylor and Kate. It was so beautiful and very refreshing, and it was just so romantic. I loved it. I loved their entire interaction together. I loved how just everything it just seemed very natural. It just flowed. And I couldn't help but cry when Taylor died. It was really hard watching that. And I kept thinking about my own relationship and thinking about how I would feel. if my boyfriend were to just die. And that really like put things into perspective and just made me really sad. So I was like crying a little bit because I was thinking about my boyfriend when I was watching this movie. So yeah, but those scenes were like really really special, really really romantic. And I'm sure I felt Kate when she was sitting in the hospital after the little like prom that they went to. And she starts like crying. She's upset because Taylor hasn't called or texted her or anything after they did stuff. And the whole like, how could he use me for sex? I mean, every girl's been there. So I totally felt her on that. I've been there myself. I thought that was like super super relatable, especially since because I was never able to relate to Kate at all because I don't have cancer. I've never been sick like that, thankfully. And I just didn't really relate to Kate as much. So that was like a time when I like that, because I think to a lot of people, Kate maybe isn't a super, may not be a relatable character to them if they've never been sick or had cancer or anything like that. So I thought that was this probably was not intentional on director and author's part or whoever, but I thought that was a very nice way to make Kate relatable to the audience, and to just remind everyone at the end of the day, she's still a teenage girl. She's still 15. And yeah, that really was a lot. I didn't like her mom's reaction. Mom's like, you did things? I mean, okay, I get it. Like, she's a mom, but it's like, your daughter's upset because this boy isn't like, like this boy just like kind of just hit and left, you know what I mean? Hit it and quit it. And you're upset because she did it. Like, your priorities are wrong, you know what I mean? Like, get upset later. Like, your daughter's crying right now. Like, come on. I didn't like that. But yeah, when he died, that was really, really rough. And her reaction and everything afterwards, I thought was very realistic. How she's like crying, and she's just have a scene with her crying and listening to heavy rock music, and she's like throwing things. She's just angry, and she's upset about the whole thing. And then later on, when she's before she dies, she tells her sister that, is she her sister? Well, she mentions, I'm not sure if it's herself or to her sister, that she wants to see Taylor again, and I think it is her sister that she wants to be with him. And I love that a lot. That was very sweet, and that was such a sad part of the movie. But I definitely love the Taylor and Kate scenes. Those are like my favorite part of the movie, were those romantic scenes. I think I talked about this, briefly, but I really want to go into more detail about it. Is the whole plot twist that the reason why Anna is doing this is because Kate wants to die and that she doesn't want to live anymore. I felt the plot twist was unnecessary. The movie was already emotional enough. Anna already had enough of a point and enough of a case without it being revealed that her sister was in on it too. Her sister being in on it too does make sense, and it helps everything, but I think it could have been just fine if they left it without it, if that makes sense. I don't think they really needed to have that in there, because like I said, she already had a point, she already had a case. Even if her sister being in on her own thing, and sister making it being like her sister's idea, and her sister wanting to die, doesn't take away from the fact that even without that, Anna still is completely valid in her feelings. So I think that whole plot twist wasn't really necessary. I don't think it doesn't take away anything, obviously. I don't really think it adds anything either, because like I said before, Anna's already valid without it. I think it was added in just so people who were on the fence about Anna's decision and her stance on things would 100% go to Anna's side knowing that Kate wanted it and was in on it and she was okay with it too. That's what I think that was included, to kind of like the author was just trying to like save themselves and redeem themselves from the bit of from the audience members, from the audience who wouldn't agree. um I mean, that's fine, but again, I didn't really think that was super necessary to the plot and to the story. um One character I forgot to mention was the lawyer. I really liked the lawyer. At first I was like, okay, he's a lawyer, cool. Um, but I really, really liked his character. I thought he was really interesting. I thought he was cool. He has like a little service dog with him named Judge, which is really cute. And he the whole thing with the lawyer was that the plot twist with him is that the lawyer has epilepsy. I really wasn't too shocked that the lawyer had epilepsy because there were several hints to it throughout the movie. The fact that he had a service dog, and the scene where before he has his seizure, it's very evident he has epilepsy because the dog keeps barking. The dog is obviously in distress and is keeps trying to alert him. You can see him clearly take medicine in that scene. And he asked the judge for a recess slash, a break before the dog started to bark. And then once he had the seizure in the courthouse, I was like, okay, you know what? I'm not really too shocked because um he it was there. The signs were there. So I really, really liked that a lot. So I just wanted to add that in because I completely forgot to do that before. But I don't really hate it either. This movie did make me cry. I was definitely crying like the last like 20 minutes. I actually have like a headache from the crying I was doing. I was just like crying continuously like the last like 20-30 minutes of the movie. Like I said, it's a pretty rough movie to watch, and it was rough. Um so very, very sad. Very, very hard. It was a very sad movie. My final thoughts on this is that would I recommend this movie? Yes, with caution. Yes, with caution. Like I said, this movie made me cry. I haven't cried since I watched Coco. The little like movie about the little boy going to the land of the dead and Dia de los Muertos. I haven't cried since I watched that movie. So, um, this movie, like I said, is pretty tough. So I would recommend this movie, yes, but like I said, with caution. You want to be careful when watching this because if you're not in a good frame of mind, you're gonna make yourself feel worse by watching this movie. If you just recently lost someone from illness or just someone in general, this could also really affect you because, like I said, the movie ends with Kate dying. So it's a pretty rough movie to watch, especially if you're not in a good headspace. So if you watch the movie, just watch with caution, and just just be careful when you watch it. I do like this movie for how it treats consent, about how the movie talks about physical consent in regards to medical, because every time you talk about consent, you talk about it sexually, but I think medical consent is just as important too. um and the movie does a really, really good job of showing that. And I like that a lot, because women have had a history of not having un unwanted and unneeded um medical procedures done on them. The biggest example I can give is the women that were had medical experiments done on them for gynecology. Um, these were slave women back in the day, and there was a white man, and he's known as the father of gynecology. I forgot his name, but he took slaves, female slaves, and female black slaves, I'm talking about in the US, and he took them and he did medical experimentations on them vaginally and in the reproductive systems. And from that, those experiments, he was able to become a better gynecologist and pioneer gynecology like we know it today. But obviously it wasn't okay. I mean, he tortured these women to get scientific facts, and there was sacrifice. That's just one of many, many, many examples of women being forced through medical procedures in order to, you know, in order to suit the needs of others. Many male, you know what I mean? That's just one of many examples. So I definitely think that the movie's approach and the movie does a good job of showing how you need consent for medical procedures. It doesn't matter if they're family or not, and the way it talks about consent when it comes to medicine. And I think it does a very, very good job with it. Anyways, that's my thoughts. Thanks for watching. I really hope you enjoyed, and I'll be back with another movie review, maybe. Bye.